Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our RISE Forum, Creating the Vision and Embracing Change. This event is being recorded. We really want to encourage all of you to type up your questions on the Q&A portion of our Zoom Navigator. We're going to be answering all your questions at the end. My name is Maribel Feliciano. I'm the Assistant Director with the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. And we are really excited about this RISE Forum number 4. Next slide, please. Our RISE Forum number 4 workshop is really, the theme is in celebration of Women's History Month. And we're really excited because we have an all-women panel for you today. Let me say that again, all-women panel for you today. We have an excellent program. But first, we're going to talk a little bit about our office, the Office of Economic and Small Business Development. We're a small business focused office. Approximately 90% of Broward County businesses are small. That means 20 employees or less. And we focus a lot of our services and programming for our small businesses. We promote also business growth and job creation. We have an excellent program for entrepreneurs. And we work with many agencies at the federal, state, and local level, local community organizations, and other partners, municipalities, chambers of commerce, to really advance the goals of the Broward County Board of County Commissioners and of this office. Next slide, please. I'm going to talk about some of the programs that we have here in our office. We offer technical assistance to our Broward County businesses. And this is in the form of one-on-one technical assistance. We can meet with you one-on-one to address any challenges you might be facing as a business. And it doesn't matter on the stage of your business. You can be at the beginning of a business. Maybe you have a concept. Maybe you already started your business and you want to develop that business even more, grow it. If you're ready to expand your business and start exporting, we also have a program for you. We have an international trade program. So we are here to assist you on every stage of your business development. We have an excellent entrepreneurship program. It's called the Kaufman New Venture. And we're going to talk about that program at the end of the presentation because we have an event on March 17th that we really want you to join us for. We are also the Economic Development Office for the BMSD or Unincorporated Broward, and we offer assistance to businesses that are located within the unincorporated parts of Broward County, financial assistance, business development assistance, etc. As I mentioned, the International Trade Program is very successful. We have 11 steps to exporting. Whenever you're ready to maybe grow your business beyond Broward, to start exporting to Latin America, the Caribbean, Europe, we are here to assist you through that process. The 11 Steps to Exporting is a program that we have a series of workshops, but we can also meet with you one-on-one to inform you and educate you and get you ready for that. We provide incentives for businesses, and we also work with many of our workforce development agencies in the county to promote workforce development and employment opportunities for our Broward County residents. Next. Community relations and outreach is also another very important part of the programs and services we offer. Business development is very important for us. We offer technical assistance to help our businesses navigate the procurement process. If you are interested in becoming a county vendor and you need assistance with your bid Periscope profile, Periscope is basically the system we use for solicitations. We are here to assist you. We can meet with you, review your Periscope profile, and provide assistance through that process. We can give you access to previous solicitations and again, help you be successful by understanding how procurement with government agencies works. We have a series of workshops on a regular basis. I would say on a weekly basis, we are developing workshops either hosted by our office or in collaboration with our community partners. Meet and greets are also very important for us. This is the opportunity you have as a small business to meet the larger companies, the primes that may be bidding on those county projects. Meet and greets, again, very important events that we have Now we're hosting these events virtually, but it's really that opportunity for you to meet the larger companies, to start establishing those networks, and to learn about upcoming projects that you may be able to bid on or participate. Very important to always stay connected with our office for these upcoming opportunities. We also have the ability to reserve complete solicitations for our small businesses, and we schedule meet and greets when we have those opportunities coming up. For example, last month, we had a meet and greet for janitorial services because we reserved over 10 contracts for janitorial services for our certified small businesses. Educational programs, mentoring programs. We had a very successful mentoring pilot program, and we're now recommending that that program is continued. And the program was very successful where we had primes mentoring our smaller companies. Excellent program. Targeted recruitment. Why is targeted recruitment so important? We have a certified list of our companies that are certified with Broward County. We have over 700 certified businesses at this time, and we want to increase that number. Now, why is that important? Because the more certified businesses we have, the more opportunities I have to reserve projects for my certified small businesses. So we work on a regular basis to recruit additional businesses to become certified with Broward County. Next slide, please. And now I would like to share with you our latest report for 2020. We were able to reserve millions of dollars in contracts for our small certified businesses. $105 million we were able to reserve in 2020 for my certified small businesses out of approximately 312 million. That's almost 1/3 of my contracts that are eligible for small business participation are being reserved for our small businesses. We have a very successful program. We really want to work with our local small businesses to be successful and be part of Broward County's procurement process. Next slide, please. I spoke briefly about the certification program. Here is my 2 local certifications. They're both race and gender neutral. We have the SBE, the Small Business Enterprise, and the CBE, the County Business Enterprise. If you're a small business in Broward County, you have been operating in Broward County for at least a year, your personal net worth is 1.32 million or less, you have 20 employees or less for my SBE certification, or you have 25 employees or less for my CBE certification, you may be eligible to be a certified small business with Broward County. We really would like to encourage you to consider the local certification. Next slide, please. And we're now making it even easier for you to apply. We have a new online certification application system. It went live February 1st of this year. It's open 24/7. It is really easy for you to complete the application online. It takes you approximately 20 minutes. You can upload all your documents and submit your application. We also have a YouTube video that is a tutorial that really walks you through the process. We walk you through every single question in completing the application. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us and we'll be glad to assist you with the application process. Next. What are some of the benefits of our certification program? Well, of course, we want to increase the small business participation as part of our county procurement process. We want to keep our taxpayers' dollars here locally so we can continue to grow our local economy. We want to employ our county residents. Having a certification with Broward County is really a special capability status that's going to help you market your business. In addition to that, we have government agencies that require that some percentage of their procurement be reserved for small businesses. Some colleges here in Broward, some municipalities, some agencies, government agencies, they accept the Broward County certification as well. So it's another opportunity for you to have access to additional contracts and procurements. Next. This is our information related to our certified directory. You can go to our website, go to the quick links section, and you can access our certified firm directory. Like I mentioned, we have over 700 firms that are certified with Broward County. We always want to increase that number, as I mentioned earlier. And this month, because it's Women History Month, we are really celebrating our Broward County women-owned businesses. As you can see, we have 235 certified women-owned businesses with Broward County. And as you can see here, we have all these different services. We have 119 for contract services, construction services, architecture and engineering, professional services, you name it, we have women-owned businesses certified with Broward County. We really would like to encourage all of you to consider getting certified with us. Next slide, please. And the federal certification, and this completes my portion of the presentation. I really wanted to share with all of you the federal certification because this one is race and gender conscious. It's for women and minority-owned businesses, and it's for the disadvantaged business enterprise and the airport concessions disadvantaged business enterprise. These are basically for USDOT funded projects. And if we go to the next slide, you'll be able to see the eligibility requirements. Next slide, please. Basically, the business must be owned 51% or more by a woman or minority person. Personal net worth is the same as our local certification, 1.32 million. It has to be a for-profit business. Here you have the gross receipts requirements for both the DBE and the ACDBE program. Broward County, our office, is the agency responsible for certifying for the DBE and the ACDBE program as well. We are here to assist you through that process. If you are not sure, based on the type of business that you have, products or services that you offer, you are eligible for this program, please feel free to contact us and we'll be glad to provide assistance with both the application process and understanding if it's something that you should consider as part of your business. Next. In today's forum is your vision leading your business to success. That is basically what we're going to be focusing on today. And it is now my pleasure, next slide, to introduce to you our moderator for this morning. She has been a true champion for our office, a true partner. We have been working with her for years, but this past year, through the pandemic, we have been working with her almost on a weekly basis as we're trying to connect our businesses to the federal assistance that was available through CARES Act, right? It has been a true partnership, and it has been a pleasure working with our moderator for today. It is my pleasure again to introduce to you our moderator, Althea Harris.
Wonderful. Good morning, friends. I'm so glad to be with you this morning, to be with the Office of Small and Economic Development. You all are the best here in South Florida. I am always so impressed with how committed Maribel, you and Sandy McDonald are to the small business community. I mean, committed. And I am just delighted to be here today to talk with you all. Next slide, please, about vision for your business. So our topics for discussion today, and you're going to hear from some fabulous women, yet another superstar from Maribel and Sandy's office, Tatyana McCall. I'm going to talk about establishing your vision and mission. She's going to talk to you about branding you and your business. And then we're going to hear from the one and only Victoria Hughes from the Florida Women's Business Center about successfully managing and reframing obstacles, which is so necessary in this time as we manage through the pandemic. Next slide, please. Well, I just thought I'd share a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Althea Harris. I've been in federal service, as it turns out, now 28 years. I just celebrated, well, no, excuse me, I will celebrate 28 years next month. And I started my federal career in my hometown of Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Department of Commerce. Then I moved over from there to the General Services Administration. That's why I understood that entire conversation. Maribel talked about government contracting. We did that at GSA. And then I came, after I married the one and only Robert Harris, I moved here to South Florida and picked up at the U.S. Small Business Administration, South Florida District Office. I met Mr. Harris at Howard University, where we both graduated, and had one class together in our last semester. And then I went on to the University of Miami School of Law. That is my family there. We have 4 wonderful children, and that is my DOG, who helps me stay fit, walks around in our garden with me, and I like to read, I really do. And there's my email address for you. That is a pretty good way of reaching me. Next slide, please. So that's our little title page. Next slide, please. So we're going to be talking about creating the vision, embracing change. Next slide. Oh, there's me again. And my family. Awesome. Okay, so what is a vision? It is a vivid and specific picture in your mind about the future of your business that is based on your values and goals. Next slide. Now, that's a hefty sentence there. And so I thought it might be smart to define our terms, right? So vivid is an adjective that means to produce powerful feelings or strong, clear images in the mind. Specific is also an adjective, clearly defined or identified. Values is a plural noun, a person's principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life, or in this case, we're adapting it to your business, in business. And goals, it's also a plural noun, the object of a person's ambition or effort, an aim or a desired result. Next slide, please. So then, a vision is a strong and powerful, clear image in your mind about a clearly defined or identified future that is based on your principles and beliefs about what is important about your business. Next slide. Now, whether you realize it or not, your beliefs drive your behaviors. And so if you can believe right, you can live right. Now, there's an ancient proverb that I've taken the liberty of adapting to celebrate Women's History Month that declares, as a woman thinks in her heart, so is she. Or as Oprah put it, you become what you believe. You are where you are today in your life based on everything you have believed. And interestingly enough, neuroscientists now know that you can literally lay down new pathways in your brain by consistently practicing new thoughts. These new neural pathways will eventually override your fixed mindset pathways and your old vision of your business, leading you toward a new vision for your future. Oprah also said once, every time you state what you want or believe, you're the first to hear it. It's a message to both you and others about what you think is possible. Don't put a ceiling on yourself, right? Don't put a ceiling on yourself. And Napoleon Hill, who I really think is terrific, in his book, Think and Grow Rich, said, success comes to those who become success conscious. Failure comes to those who indifferently allow themselves to become failure conscious. So you really have to be mindful when you're developing your vision. Next slide, please. So how do you begin? Okay, right? So this is all this great stuff, la da 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 da. But how do you begin? I really like the practical approach to things, right? Especially these heady topics like vision. Well, Vincent van Gogh said, and he, he's the famous Impressionist painter, great things are done by a series of small things brought together. How do you create a vision? It's like saying the saying about how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Doing a series of small bites, right? You will conquer and digest this elephant. So the same is true about developing your vision. In my estimation, the first step is to dream. Daydream about the future. Do you remember that you used to do that? I know I put it off for the everyday and the mundane as we grow in responsibility and maturity. Dreams get overtaken by the everyday. So I want to encourage you to dream. What would your future be if you had no limitations? Peter Drucker, the late management thought leader and guru, said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. That's what entrepreneurs do. So as long as you're dreaming, be sure to dream big. Then I think this is so critical. You've got to develop the discipline to think. Very often, the answers to your questions are trapped inside your own mind and your memories. Very often, it's a memory of something you've already experienced or encountered. The challenge is we live in an unprecedented time of information overload. And frankly, there's too much of the wrong things, in my opinion, crowding out the right things. Too much time living vicariously through the lives of strangers, rather than building the life we want. Too often, our dreams and aspirations are overtaken by the mundane day-to-day activities. So, start by taking a pen and pad. Yes, I know it's old school, but I'm old school and it works. Find a quiet and comfortable place to sit. No electronics. Accept a timer and set it for 10 minutes. Put one question at the top of the page and reflect on that one question and write down what your mind gives you. Now, I can tell you right now, in the beginning, this will be challenging, and the things coming out of your brain will seem like gibberish, and it might be. You've got a lot of information and junk mixed up in there with your dreams, but keep going. You will have distracted thoughts. Write those down, no problem. You're going to go through that pad or your writings and sift through all that. So when your 10 minutes are up, put it away. Come back to it the next day at the same time, at the same place, set the timer, and write the question at the top of the page and answer it again. You'll look over what you've written, circle and highlight, or however you want to star the useful words, thoughts, and concepts that you've come up with. Over time, you want to build up to maybe 15 minutes a day, then 30 minutes a day, and so on. Here's some of the questions you might want to consider. Why am I here on the planet now? Why weren't you born 200 years ago or 200 years in the future? What's important to you? What's important to your business? Why does your business exist? This is a classic question. Why did you start your business? What is it in the marketplace for? And please, whatever you do, do not answer that question with, I and my business exist to make money. No. Inherent in the definition of a business is that it will make money. If it didn't, it'd be a hobby or a nonprofit. So that's not the answer to the question, why does your business exist? Dig deeply. What is your unique offering to the marketplace, to your community, to your world? What problem is your business solving? What pressure point or pain point does your business relieve? What do you believe about the future? Is it bleak, exciting, waiting on you? What do you want to change? And I suppose there's a whole lot of things that we could be upset about and want to see change, you know? So how do you and your business address that change? And who can help you with your goals? Number 3, I would say conduct research. Take an inventory of your business. Take an inventory of the competition. Take an inventory of the marketplace. What brings you fulfillment and satisfaction? What do your customers like most about what you offer? Do a SWOT analysis about your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to your business, which Ms. McCall is going to pick up on that next. Look at market analysis, trends. Collecting the right information and data can help you refine your vision. Research includes doing networking, whether live or online. Ask questions. This is getting at the heart of creating your vision. Now, the problem with research is, right, you gotta focus. There's a lot of information out there, as I've already stated. So focus. What does focus mean? It's the center of interest or activity, an act of concentrating interest or activity on something, the state or quality of having or producing clear visual definition. This is what is at the heart of creating your vision. This is hard work, I'm not gonna lie. You will become distracted. You might even become overwhelmed by the importance of having a vision. You might want to quit. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, in all of this searching for your vision, it's all trapped inside of you. So you're going to have to pull it out of there. And whatever you pull out, be sure to write down everything. There is something special, something supernatural about writing down your dreams, your vision, your goals. There's another ancient truth that I've decided to update and modernize that says, write the vision down on paper. Make it plain and simple so that anyone who reads it can understand what you're trying to accomplish and can even help you with it. That you've written it down is your declaration that it will happen, even if it seems like it's slow poking its way into existence. Stick with it and don't give up because it will happen. So once you've written your vision statement, it's necessary and essential that you share it with someone you trust who will keep you accountable to what you wrote. Lastly, I would say believe. Now listen, don't wait until you feel like it to write your vision. Don't wait until you feel like it to start dreaming big. Don't wait to feel like it because you may never feel like doing the hard work of making your dreams and vision come true. But once you start, your accountability partner will help you stay on track. You'll need perseverance and determination. You're gonna need some grit and stamina to go the distance. This is not a one and done kind of project. Periodically, though, once you've gotten it down, pull it out. You've got to look at your goals again and again and remind yourself why you are pursuing this vision. Visionaries are needed. Visionaries change the world. And that's who you are. So you've got to dig deep and you've got to stay focused. You've got to believe that you can do it. And so help yourself, keep going, lay down those new tracks in your mind. Eventually, you will believe it and your business will become it. Next slide, please. Now, trust me when I tell you, inevitably, your fears and your doubts will come up and they're going to pressure you. They're going to pressure you and tempt you and talk to you, trying to persuade you to quit. They'll say that Althea Harris, oh, she's so crazy. That's all that hokey stuff. That doesn't work. But remember, you become what you believe. If you believe fear, doubt, and pressure, you will be defeated. They'll also try to intimidate you with a bunch of what if questions. What if it doesn't work? What if your competitors find out? What if you fail? You can answer these what if questions, but don't dwell on the negative. Next slide, please. Don't dwell on the negative. Instead, listen to what Napoleon Hill says. Focus on the possibilities for success, not on the potential for failure. Turn away from that what if you fail question and consider and focus instead on the question, what if I succeed? If you succeed, you will succeed in changing your life, changing your business, potentially changing your community, dare I say, the world. Keep laying down those tracks in your mind toward the future and for the future you want for your business. And so much of how we see things is dependent upon how we look at things, where we sit, our perspective. And I really appreciate this perspective that's attributed to Thomas Alva Edison, the famous American inventor who developed many devices in the fields of electric power generation, mass communication, sound recording, and motion pictures. You know, the things that he invented in the last century and before that one are how we're even able to communicate on Zoom today. He said about his efforts, I've not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. We're still talking about Edison today because minimally he believed he would succeed. Next slide, please. So your vision statement, remember, is your lodestar. It is the guiding principle for your business. It will help you develop your goals, a strategic plan. It'll help you make decisions and set goals that align with the vision statement. And ultimately, it will lead you to the development and solidification of your brand, which Ms. McCall will talk to us about next. A vision statement helps the company, that's you, and your employees stay focused on your core values, strengths, and goals. It should be vivid and clear, concise and succinct. Don't go on and on. If your vision statement is more than 2 simple sentences, it's not clear enough. Dream, think, research, focus, refine, some more. It should be inspirational and compelling to rally you and your employees and your customers. Finally, it should be written and shared with those who will not only help you accomplish the vision, but those who will benefit from your vision. Again, you might periodically tweak your vision statement, but you really shouldn't need to change it much after you've made that decision and written it down. You should definitely have it memorized, refer to it often, say it often, and beware of vision drift. So I thought it would be helpful, next slide, if we took a look at a few sample vision statements that are actually out there. All right, so Amazon, I chose their old logo. They just engaged in controversy this week about their new logo, but I like that. I like their old logo that takes you from A to Z, right, on their website. But their vision is to be Earth's most customer-centric company, to build a place where people can come to find and discover anything they might want to buy online. Next slide. The Alzheimer's Association vision statement is so clear. They envision a world without Alzheimer's disease. Next slide. And Microsoft, when they were founding Microsoft decades ago, their vision was for a computer on every desk and in every home. And by golly, that's what has happened. That is the power of a clear vision. Next slide. IKEA wants to create a better everyday life for many people. Not everybody, but many people. And the last one, next slide. Nike. They want to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. And by golly, they are a worldwide corporation. So that is the power of a vision statement. And you can see how it compelled these large companies to where they are today. And I have just two more things for you. Next slide. Deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act on building the life, and I'll say business, you desire. Make sure you're around like-minded people who, and that goes for you with hiring people, hiring executives in your business, who you choose to do business with. Deliberately, it's not happenstance. Deliberately seek the company of people who influence you to think and act. It's not enough to hear all this stuff. You've got to do it to build the life and business you desire. And then finally, life is a game board, said Napoleon Hill. Time is your opponent. If you procrastinate, you will lose the game. You must make a move to be victorious. And then our last slide, remember one of the questions I asked you earlier or thought you should consider in your business when you sit down to write your pen and pad? Who can help you? Well, we can. The folks on this call can help you, and the SBA can help you. We have all kinds of resources available to you. Victoria Hughes is on later from the Florida Women's Business Center. They can help you. Please go to our website and see all that we do and all that we offer. At our local website, sba.gov/South Florida, you can sign up to find out about all of our events. There's tremendous information. There's blogs on the SBA website that can help you. There are tutorials, there are videos. There are all kinds of resource partners who can help you, including the Florida Women's Business Center, our SCORE chapters, and our small business development centers. You can find them at sba.gov/local-assistance. And we have a great deal of content on YouTube. And then finally, I just wanted to plug our small business book club. We have a book club, the Business Building Book Club. Our next meeting is next week. Friday at noon. The book is called Vivid Vision. We'll be talking more about the book talks a lot about how to develop your vision. And so I hope you'll join us. Of course, it's free, it's online, and the link is there where you can sign up to register for not only our March meeting, but also our April meeting, where we're going to be reading the confidence code. Too often, women don't have the confidence to implement their dreams. We're going to hopefully shatter that with that book, and I hope you'll join us for that discussion. So that's it for me. I hope that helps you think about how to begin to craft your vision, the steps you need to take. And so now we're going to hear from, please, next slide. I want to introduce you to Miss T. McCall. She is an MBA, and she is the Community Relations and Outreach Manager at the Office of Economic and Small Business Development in Broward County. She's amazing, and I can't wait for you to hear what she has to say about building your brand. Your vision will feed into your brand. So listen up, and thank you, Miss McCall.
Good morning, and thank you, Ms. Harris. Excellent, excellent, excellent groundwork that you laid for the next segment. Welcome and good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking time this morning to be with us, to get information, to encourage and empower you as women to build your vision, create your mission, so that you can go on to the next steps that I'm going to talk about, which is regarding building your brand. Ms. Harris laid some excellent building blocks for you all to build upon. One of the biggest mistakes that businesses, small businesses make, especially women-owned businesses, is that we do not establish our mission and vision. And you have to have a solid and clear mission and vision, as she stated, in order to transition to the next step of branding your business. She mentioned something about fixed mindsets in terms of being able to build those new connections and pathways. So I wanted to just kind of touch on that just because she mentioned it. There's a phenomenal book by Carol Dweck. She was a Stanford psychologist that talks about fixed mindsets versus growth mindsets. And a fixed mindset is one where you feel like you have limited talents or limited abilities, only basic skill sets, and you can't build upon those or grow from that. And therefore, if you have a fixed mindset, you tend to limit yourself. And we as women often can find ourselves in that unfortunate thought process. But if you have a growth mindset, then you feel like you can increase your talents, you can increase your abilities, they can be developed through workshops like this, through trainings and through education. So I want to make sure that along those lines of building your growth mindset, that you continue to stay engaged and connected to supporting organizations and programs such as this to make sure that you are moving yourself forward, being that visionary as Ms. Harris talked about, and you have a clear mission and vision. So going forward, next slide. A little bit about myself. I attended the University of Miami and the University of Phoenix, received my MBA from Rollins College, Cromwell Graduate School of Business. I was a marketing professor for just a little over 11 years, and I have marketing experience in nonprofit management, professional sports, education industry, as well as here with the county government with Broward County. I am the proud mother of 4 young men that are there on the screen. They keep me busy. We have a love for sports, and I enjoy traveling, music, and good food. Next slide. So in my segment, we're going to talk about branding, as Ms. Harris mentioned. We're going to define what branding is. I want to make sure you have a clear understanding when you leave this workshop of what branding is compared to what marketing is, because those two terminologies, those two words tend to get misconstrued and confused. So I want to make sure that you're clear and have a clear definition on what branding is. We're going to talk about the power of positioning, a competitive advantage, steps that you need to take to build your brand, and the action items that I want you to engage in. Which brings me to the workshop worksheet. We sent out to everyone this morning who registered before 10:30 this morning, the workshop worksheet where you can be engaged while you are getting this information from Ms. Harris, myself, and Ms. Hughes. You can take notes. It's fillable so that you can type into it on your keyboard while we are talking, or you can print it out and take notes or make notes on it post the event. The event is being recorded, and you'll be able to go back and visit the link on our YouTube page so that if you want to take notes, then at that time you can do that as well. So after we talk about those steps to building your brand, we're going to cover a SWOT analysis that Ms. Harris referenced. That's an important tool that you want to use as business owners to make sure that you are evaluating your metrics the way that you should. And then we're going to want to make sure that you stay engaged. Next slide. So what is the difference? We often hear these terms called branding and marketing. People think that it's advertising, selling, it's about image. And while all those things are inclusive, there are some distinctive differences that we want to make sure you understand about the difference between branding and marketing. Next slide. So branding is what comes first. This is what's going to follow your mission and your vision statement. From your mission and vision statement, you're going to identify your brand, which is who you are. Your brand is your promise to your public, to your clients, to your customers. It's your reputation. It is what you want to be a lasting impression of what and who you are as a business. Your brand is going to create loyal customers and advocates, and your brand is strategic, and it starts with you as the business owner. So differing from marketing, which follows branding, marketing comes next. Marketing is your message. It is how you communicate who you are, your brand. Marketing is what finds your buyers that then creates those local customers and advocates from your brand. And marketing is tactical. As I mentioned, branding was strategic. And so what's the difference? Let's just pause right there for a minute between strategy and tactics. So strategy is your overhaul, your overarching long-term plan. It's your path, if you will. It's the road you're going to travel. Whereas your tactics or your tactical aspect of it, the marketing side, are those action items, the actual steps you're going to take along that path to get where you're trying to go. So your strategy or your brand is your path, and your marketing and tactics are the steps that you're going to take on that path. And so in conclusion with marketing, marketing starts with the customer. Branding starts with you, the business owner, and how you want your business to be represented and to be known. And then marketing starts with the customer in terms of how you get that message to them. Next slide. So branding is more than your logo. People tend to think that I've got this logo, that's my brand, and that establishes your brand. It's absolutely a part of it, but it's not the main portion of what your brand is. So your brand is how your customers will recognize your company, which is, again, through your logo, but it's also going to be through your reputation, through your product or service, through your customer service, through any warranties or services that you provide. All of these things are going to encompass who your brand is. It's what makes you stand out. It's your position and your competitive advantage, which we're going to talk about just a little bit more in a coming slide. It's understanding your audience. Who is buying what I have to offer? And that is how you continue to build your brand. It's about establishing goals and making connections that translate into long-term relationships with your customers. Branding is also about relationship building. Next slide. Go back one. Okay, thank you. So the power of positioning, this is key. So in these pictures and these images, you see apples and you see some lemons. You see green apples, you see a red apple. Your business has to be that red apple. In the marketplace, it is important with how you position yourself in the market. And there are different ways to do that. So you want to make sure either you are different in color in terms of this one, or you are in the center of the pack, or whatever is going to give you that competitive advantage that we're going to talk about. But how you are positioned in the market is important. You need to understand, is there a viable substitute for the product or service that you have to offer? For example, you have some people who just may want a cola. They have no preference whether it's a Pepsi Cola or a Coca-Cola. They just want a cola. However, so then those are viable substitutes. But then, however, you do have some who have preferences that are either loyal to a brand, a taste, and those are things that you want to create for your business. You want to make sure that people have a preference for you, whether there is a viable substitute to your product or service or not. Competitors can offer the same thing often for the same price, or they may be able to offer it at a better price. So you have to figure out how to stand out from the crowd. And that can also sometimes be a challenge for us as women and women-owned businesses, because we are always having to fight upstream. But you have to figure out your niche and how to differentiate yourself and make that happen. Next slide. So competitive advantage, as we just talked about the power of positioning. If you're that red apple, being red in a pile of green apples is one advantage. You're going to stand out. You could be bigger in size. You could be the bigger red apple with the smaller green apples. So, or there are, your apple can have a sweeter taste. So in that very simplistic example, I'm trying to help you understand that you've got to figure out a way to differentiate yourself. So that becomes your competitive advantage. So in this illustration, some examples of competitive advantage are, again, having a superior service, speed to market, being first to the industry. If you've got a new product or service and you're able to get into the industry and the market faster than others, that could be a competitive advantage. Having better quality standards and different degrees of differentiation. So market research will then give you information to conducting what your competitive advantage is going to be. You want to do a thorough analysis of your competitors. You want to know what their strengths and weaknesses are so that you can clearly identify what your competitive advantage is going to be in comparison to them. Directly relate your business's features, whatever it is that you're providing, whatever goods or service or product that you're providing, you want to directly relate those features and benefits to your unique assets as compared to your competition. So again, that third bullet gives you
We're experiencing some technical issues. Please wait for a few seconds.
Okay, it sounds like Ms. McCall is going to go out and come back in. And what a great presentation she's giving us so far. I really do hope you all are taking notes. Incidentally, with your Eventbrite email or the registration email, you should have gotten a worksheet to take notes. Okay, there you are, Miss T. Mute yourself and pick up where you left off.
I don't know what happened. I do apologize. Technology can be our friend or our foe sometimes. So I appreciate everyone's patience where we got that back online.
Yes.
So thank you again. So I'm going to go ahead to the next slide, Vanetta. Thank you. So I'm going to quickly go through these next steps of building your brand. This is a great place, as Ms. Harris mentioned during her segment, to take some notes. Grab that pen, that pencil. If you don't have access to the form, the worksheet that we provided to you, take some notes, because I've got some action items I want to make sure that you take part of. So here comes your homework. So next slide. So first step, you have to understand branding. So we just clearly identified what branding is and what it isn't, as well as what marketing is. So understanding branding requires that you know your ideal customer and targeting that exact demographic. This is called market segmentation. And the best analogy I can give you for that is if you are in the the field of education, let's say, and your product or service is geared specifically to those in K through 12, well, then you don't want to market to those in higher education or in grad school if your product or service is not going to benefit them. That would be a waste of your time, your resources, your energy, and your finances. So you want to make sure that you know exactly who is using your product or service and that you're targeting your marketing to them. So all of your marketing would need to be concentrated on those areas that are going to get to that K through 12 market. So you want to know who your ideal customer is, and you want to target that exact demographic. Your brand is also about imaging, values, and visual elements. And it's about your company. As I mentioned, it's your brand identity. It is your reputation. So colors will matter. Your messaging is going to matter. Your customer service is going to matter. So your action steps on the right side of the screen, I want you to decide what branding strategies to apply to your business, and then create a list of messages that you want to communicate with your brand. As Ms. Harris mentioned, messaging is important, that it's clear and concise and consistent. So you want to have a list of messages that you continually use to brand your products and services. Next slide. Okay, next. So determining your audience. Your target audience can't be everyone, as I mentioned previously. And that is one big mistake that we tend to make as business owners, and especially as women business owners. We want to be a good steward of our resources, because oftentimes they are limited. So we want to make sure that we are not targeting people who have no interest, who cannot afford, who it's not going to benefit. We want to hone in and zone in on those particular target audience that are going to use what we have to offer. So be specific. You know, it's sometimes people try to drag the net and feel like if they just grab the masses, that then they'll kind of get some out of that, but that's not always a good use of your resources. You want to be specific. Know your audience, understand what they want, know what their buying power is, learn their consumer behaviors, what their purchase behaviors are. A clear audience is a clear target for your brand, and that's what this is about, targeting and being concise with your brand. So your action items for determining your audience, I want you to create an ideal customer profile. Jot down the type of people that use what you have to offer, what age group, what demographics, if there's a specific culture or subculture that use what you have to offer. You need to know exactly who your customer profile is. And you want to research those specific market demographics. Know if you have that demographic in your marketplace. Are they within a 10-mile radius of your business location, or are they further to the east side or the north side, so that you know exactly where to penetrate your branding and marketing efforts. Next slide. Know your competition. This is extremely important, ladies and gentlemen, especially as business owners. You want to be aware of how your competition is marketing itself. You then have to differentiate yourself from the competition. Know where the gaps are in your industry. That is where you can find your bread and butter. That is where you can pivot, especially in a time like now with COVID and these different challenges that we're experiencing. And I know Ms. Hughes is going to touch on overcoming those challenges and obstacles in the next segment.
Looks like we're having
Uh-oh.
again.
Right. Hey, may I take a moment to ask you all to make sure you use the Q&A section of the Zoom. Thank you very much. The Q&A section, if you have questions for any of us, I love the chat. You all are just so kind and generous to be so complimentary of me and Miss McCall. You're gonna love Miss Hughes too, she's next. I don't know if Tatyana knows she's been disconnected. What? Yep, okay, good. So it's coming together. But yeah, so put your questions in the Q&A if you have any. And I would just like to, continue stalling by mentioning that if you have not gotten a PPP loan for your business, please go over to the SBA website and sign up for our newsletter. We do webinars Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays in English and Spanish on the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program loan, as well as SBA's Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Both of those are designed to help you with meeting your payroll requirements through the pandemic. Miss T, unmute yourself and carry on.
I do not know what keeps happening. My staff is sending me messages that things keep freezing, so I'm not sure what's happening, but thank you all for bearing with us. So we will jump right on in. So the next slide should be visual basics. Excellent. Okay, so the visual basics. This is important because, as we mentioned, the logo does represent your brand. It's not the only element that's of importance, but it does matter. So if you are not a designer, then this is a good time to call a professional. You want to put aside a few dollars in your budget to make sure that you have a professional representation of yourself. Your logo is an important visual representation of your brand. So the color palette, the size, the fonts, the imaging, the web elements, those things do matter. They matter. And especially they can be long-term costs if you have this logo that's large, oversized, and overwhelming. And if you're trying to put that on, your stationery, your letterhead, or even on, clothing in terms of uniforms, those things, if they're not designed correctly, can cost you exuberant amount of money down the road. So you want to make sure that you do use a professional for this. And you can do it pretty cost effectively these days. You can go online and find ways, local businesses, check out our directory, our certified directory, and find some businesses that can help you with graphic design. But it can be a very cost-effective initiative, but it's one that you want to make sure that you have some funds set aside for, to make sure it is professional and has a look that represents you and your brand appropriately. So your action items, I want you to use your mission statement, the one that you're going to create, that Ms. Harris identified and talked about, your mission, your vision statement. Research some visual elements that express those key ideals about your mission and your vision and what you want your business to be and to look like and to be known for. You want to encompass those values and those ideals into your logo through your colors and your images. So you want to do a little bit of research on that. Find a graphic designer or branding specialist online through Broward County Certified Directory and discuss your goals with them. Next slide. Be transparent. This is important. In today's day and age where everything is accessible through social media and the internet, you want to make sure that you don't allow people to tarnish your brand. You don't want to give them power to put negative comments and posts out there about you. This is an emerging brand paradigm that you want to make sure that you take that shift. You want to shift with them. As the data up there states, 62% of customers will often or always switch to a transparent product, and that comes from Response Media. So you want your consumers to be informed, and this is also going to build brand loyalty. So you want to make sure that you have a powerful tool for branding that you use through transparency. So what you can do in terms of taking action with respect to transparency is use clear and honest messaging in your marketing. So when you are sending out your marketing materials, be clear and honest about it. Don't hide cost, be upfront with what your costs are going to be. And you want to make sure that there's always transparency and accessibility to you through your marketing campaigns. Next slide. Crafting your voice. So part of being effective in branding is knowing your audience and how to reach them. And so how to reach them is where you then craft your voice. You have to determine the best ways to communicate with your audience. Where are they? What resources and tools and platforms are they using? Are they watching TV? Are they listening to radio? Are they on social media? If they are on social media, which platforms are they using? Am I trying to reach millennials? Am I trying to reach a more mature age group? And where are they getting their information? Are they reading it in the newspaper still? Or are they on their mobile devices? You want to know where they are, and you want to meet them in that place. In the process, you want to eliminate what we call noise in marketing. Noise is anything that takes away from your message. They are distractions. Noise they are distractions. You ever drive down the highway, see an outdoor message up on a billboard, and when you get past it, you don't remember what it was advertising or what it was about, because all of the imagery or the colors or the pictures were distracting and it took away from the message. You don't want to do that. Those are marketing dollars. You don't want to have ineffective marketing in terms of not being able to convey your message efficiently. So eliminate the noise when you're crafting your voice. Be clear, concise, and consistent. There are those 3 C's again: clear, concise, and consistent in your messaging, and learn how to interact with with your audience in a way that speaks to them. So if you have a very entry-level audience in terms of, who you're trying to reach, then you have to use very basic conversation and basic terminology. You don't want to go over their head. So speak to your audience in a way that they can relate to. Your action items: research your audience to know where they are and where they get their information from, what publications, blogs, where they at. Find out where your people are, and then determine how your company can appeal to those platforms while finding your own unique voice, tone, and message. And I say that very casually in point 2, but tone is important. So make sure you pay attention to how your tone is perceived. You may intend for it to come across one way, but you want to kind of maybe test it out and talk to some people and ask them if it is in fact coming across the way that you intend. Next slide. So that SWOT analysis that Ms. Harris talked about, this is an important tool, ladies and gentlemen. So SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and I would often teach in my marketing classes about trends too. Trends don't always apply, but you do want to consider them. You want to take a look and you want to verify whether trends will be a factor for you or not. If not, no problem. You can just state that I did consider trends, so you know that you didn't overlook it. So your strengths, this is going to identify what you do well. What do I as a business do well? Do I have a good product? Do I have a good service? Do I have great customer service? Do I make my product at a very low cost? What do I do well? Do I have great personnel? Do I have sufficient staff? These are the things that are going to help you identify your strongholds in your business. Weaknesses, this is going to tell you where you're not so efficient. This is where you need to make some changes. Is my price too high? Are my portions too big or too small? Is my quality not up to par? Identify your weaknesses, because this is going to be an area to help you grow. Opportunities. Where can I grow, pivot, or improve? These are those gaps we talked about, those gaps in the market. You want to identify those gaps or those gaps in your particular business. It may not be in the marketplace. It may be in your product offering. You may be limited in what you're able to provide right now, but as things improve and as you grow, you may be able to add various products and services to your menu of items, if you will. Threats. What are those potential problems for you? This is always going to be your competitors. You want to know as much as you can about your competition, and so that you can address those issues. And then trends, again, as I mentioned, those are external factors that you may or may not need to consider. Here in Florida, we have hurricane season, so that can be a potential issue. That's something that we know is coming every year, June and November. So you want to make sure you consider how the weather trends can impact your business. Next slide. So stay engaged. As I mentioned, following up with Ms. Harris, as you become a visionary and you go into growth mindsets, leaving fixed mindsets, you have to stay connected. We as women can encourage and empower each other, which is what today is about. We want to give you building blocks, tools, and resources to stay engaged, to stay connected. And through the Office of Economic and Small Business Development and our Business Assistance Weekly, which is our weekly newsletter that we refer to as the BAW, that's a great way to stay connected, knowing about pre-bid meetings, outreach events such as this. So if you take your camera, if you are not already a BAW subscriber, and just angle it over that QR code, you'll be able to send us an email and request to be added to our BAW. Next slide. And so in conclusion, these are the important takeaways. I want you to make sure you're clear with what branding is versus marketing, what the difference and distinctions are. Branding comes first. Position yourself to have a competitive advantage and take action. Your SWOT analysis, know those strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and trends, so that you can relate it to your business and determine your path in terms of the direction and trajectory that you want to go in. And lastly, stay engaged. We are here to help and serve you. We want to be a partner with you to make sure that you have the things that you need to be successful. So welcome to the time of now in terms of we as women and celebrating. This month is all about celebrating women's history, and your time is now. So welcome to the time of now, ladies, and let's make it happen. Next slide. I'll turn it back over to Ms. Harris to introduce the next speaker.
Okay, wow. Man, you gave us a whole lot. I feel like we were you're drinking water from a fire hydrant. Good job. All right, now we have Victoria Hughes. I am pleased to tell you that she is the director of the Florida Women's Business Center, which is funded in part by the U.S. Small Business Administration. She is here to help you manage and reframe your obstacles. Your turn, Victoria.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Althea, and thank you, Mrs. McCall. I really appreciate it. Let's go to the next slide. So I'm going to start with sharing a little information about me. I generally don't. When we talk about marketing and sharing information, I generally don't talk about me a lot, but today, I'd like to share some information. I relocated to Florida from Connecticut 10 years ago. I have 7 brothers and 1 sister, none of whom live in Florida. My mom is 95 years old and very witty. She generally comes to spend time with me during the winter, but because of the pandemic, obviously that wasn't possible. But I'm just so proud that she's still with us. And able to remember my name at that. I'm a beach junkie. So when we talk, I'm going to talk a little bit about stress and how it affects your business and moving forward. I like to go to the beach because that's where I can relax, take a step back and think. I transitioned from being a vice president of corporate services for an international company to an entrepreneur. I received the SBA's Women in Business Champion Award for the state of Connecticut in 2009 when I ran my own business called Add More Eyes, which stands for Adding More Eyes to Your Business. And I also hosted the Women's Business Conference there for the state of Connecticut. And this year I'd like to share, or at least last year, the Florida Women's Business Center received the SBA's Women's Business Center Award for Region 4 last year. And so that was for the state of Florida as well as the region. So we're really happy about that. We're most happy about the fact that we serve women in particular. So the Florida Women's Business Center covers Palm Beach County and Broward County. We provide free counseling, one-on-one counseling, group counseling. We have a whole host of workshops that we provide, all geared toward helping women start, grow, and run successful businesses. We are under the umbrella of the Center for Technology, Enterprise, and Development, known as the TED Center, and they've been headquartered in Delray Beach for more than 25 years. I do apologize for my voice. We'll try to get through this. I have some water here. So please forgive me. Next slide. My topic today is successfully managing and reframing obstacles. I thought I would start with the definition of obstacles. Things that block our way or prevents or hinders progress. In other words, they're excuses for most small business owners. So small business owners tend to procrastinate and devise excuses. So this year we're looking forward to helping you eliminate those excuses and how point you in the direction that we can help you identify how to move your ideas and your businesses forward, and give you some tools and some directions to do that. Excuse me. The first thing I want to talk about is navigating the when and how to restart your business. We've been getting tons of calls and questions on when can I restart my business, or when should I start my business? What I'd like to say is, in terms of starting a business, that thought process is going on all the time. And so it's not a matter of restarting, it's a matter of taking a step back and saying, where am I now? What is the current situation? How does the current environment affect me and how I can move forward with my business? So let me give you a couple of examples. To restart your business, if your business was active and you don't have any customers at the present time, or you haven't contacted those customers, then you really want to look at the details that Ms. McCall offered you in terms of doing some research, understanding what the marketplace is now, because it's different. It's not the same as it was 9 months ago or a year ago, and 6 months from now, it'll be different as well, because we're changing and pivoting into an environment where the life of business and the way we do business is going to change. So when we're talking about restarting your business, should you spend money on marketing? Well, you should always market your business. The question is where and how, and you're going to document that. We've already talked about that. What about customers and clients? Have you contacted or stayed in contact with those customers and clients? And are they going to purchase your products and services? That's where your research is going to come into play, and the documentation of a plan. We know that everyone needs a plan. If you've been in business, you need a roadmap. If you're starting a business, you need a plan. So you really need to document. Everything needs to be on paper in the computer. Like Althea, I believe that you should write everything down. I believe that if you have a notebook and you're carrying that notebook around with you, when you see things, you can write them in the notebook, and then you can update them in your computer and on your documentation. But you need to write things down so that you don't forget anything, and you can analyze the information that you have while you're gathering it. The second thing I want to talk about is today everyone has what I'm going to call extra time. Not everyone is going into the office. There's not a lot of in-person networking events. So you have a lot of extra time. There's really no excuse for everyone not to take that extra time and improve the quality of your business and your information. So when I say that, let me give you an example. Many of you have not been able to apply for the payroll protection program because you did not document or have documented information that would allow you to complete an application effectively. So right now, the second opportunity to apply for the payroll protection program is here. So you really need to take the opportunity to attend the workshops that will tell you about the application and how to apply, but also on a go-forward basis, it allows you to solve the problem of not having information to run and operate an effective business. So when we say take a step back to problem solve, what you want to do is look at those issues, make a list of those issues that you've had in either starting a business or operating your business. If your business was in operation during the pandemic, but you could not get inventory items, you could not get products shipped in from outside of the country, what are you going to do about that? How are you going to change that on a go-forward basis? Now is the time to solve that problem. Do you need to find additional suppliers offshore? If you do, then you should be attending the Enterprise Florida's trade show, because it's a global trade show. It's free, it's virtual. You can attend that from home, obviously, via Zoom, or register for their event and meet suppliers all over the world. If you're looking to have an importing company, it also gives you the opportunity to meet manufacturers who would become your supplier for products here in the United States that you would like to sell. So now is the time for you to take a step back, look at where you are, look at what you're doing, and solve those problems that you might have. The other way of solving problems is to talk to other people. Everyone who is part of today's presentation, they can sit down and talk to you. They can bounce off ideas, and they can share information. We're really here to reach out and support each other. So when we start talking about problem solving, many of us can't solve all of the problems on our own. We need help. So where do we go? I certainly don't have all the problems, but I can call Althea, I can call Tatyana, I can call other resource partners and say, look, we have this issue, we have this problem, this person wants to start a business doing this, or they need to have this issue resolved. How can we help? And that's how we can help you resolve some of those issues and solve the problems that you have. In terms of your business plans, in order for you to understand where you are, where you're going, and how you're going to get there, I like to always say, if you were traveling from here to California, you would not be able to just go west, because you would get to the other side of Florida, the west side of Florida, and there would be an ocean there. And if you have not planned for some type of transportation, you're never going to get to California. So you need a plan, you need a roadmap on how you are going to move forward. And that roadmap also allows you to identify problems that you may have. And now is the time to resolve those problems, because the world is different. Business is different. There are some basics. The basics will always be 2 and 2 equals 4. It doesn't matter whether you write it out horizontally or vertically, it's still going to equal 4. So when we're talking about basic business practices, most of those are not going to change. Your information is going to make you unique from someone else, but the idea of having a business plan and having a roadmap is the foundation of how you can move forward in terms of managing those obstacles and eliminating the excuses that you may have. It also allows someone else to help you, and that becomes important as well. So if we look at everything that has happened in the past here over the last year, I guess we're talking about, yes, business has changed, life has changed, but striking a balance in work-life situations is so important, because healthy mind, healthy body equals healthy business. And if all 3 of those things are not in sync and you are balanced, then you're not going to be able to effectively move forward in developing a business. So how do you take that step back, breathe, and figure out what's going to work for you? Over the last couple of months, with everyone working virtually, I know that Althea is loving working from home virtually. She's working all the time, but it has eliminated her travel time to get from point A to point B. So she is certainly more productive in what she's doing, and she has more time to do it. So she's really enjoying that. But not everybody has the luxury of being able to work from home without distractions. I think we have all seen individuals who are home and their kids are joining their Zoom call, or their animals, their pets are joining in on the Zoom call. So that becomes difficult to some degree. But when we talk about those types of obstacles, how do you resolve that? On a go-forward basis, you want to manage through that. So as time goes on, do you need to figure out how to have a private room in your home outside of the kitchen where you can work and do your Zoom calls even while your family is home? Being able to balance that and eliminate distractions are really, really important. And one of the things that I would like to touch on today in terms of striking a balance and not being distracted is no one has all of the answers. You're never going to have all of the answers in terms of how to start a business, how to move a business forward. Sometimes you just have to do it. But when you reach out there or jump out there to do it, make sure that you have people around you, organizations, groups that are going to support you. And other business owners become so important in this sense when you're talking about striking a balance. So in looking at some of the distractions that women in particular face, having to take care of the kids, having to cook dinner, having to do all of these other things, doesn't mean that you can't start a business and effectively start it. It just means that you have to shuffle things around in a way that you have time to do the hard work. I'm not suggesting that starting a business isn't hard work. It takes a lot of time. You should be thinking about your business 24/7. Right now, anyone who's going to the grocery store, they should be talking to everyone in the grocery store about their business and making those connections because they become extremely important. I do want to also touch on the fact that, and I'm going to address it later, but money becomes a distraction as well because many of you are either laid off or had to close your business or you don't have any money coming in. And so the distraction is, how do I survive? How do I survive every day and move forward? Well, this is also an opportunity maybe for you to work with someone else and look at how do you work with and for someone so that you can have some money coming in potentially, but also learn more about the business. So take the time to really increase your knowledge about what's going on in the economic marketplace, not just in the United States, but on a global basis. The other types of distractions that come along, sometimes family members can be distractions when operating a business because they make you believe that you can't start a business, you don't know how are you going to make money, how are you going to survive? All of those things, those negative thoughts become distractions in your business, and you really don't need to hear that. So I think it was Althea who mentioned you need to surround yourself with people who believe in you, who are going to lift you up. And certainly other small business owners are going to do that. So networking and making contacts in groups like this becomes so important. And your next question may be, well, how do I get in touch with the people in this group? The people who were on some of the Zoom calls? What you're going to do is contact Tatyana, I'm sorry, and you are going to ask her how you can stay connected with the group and reach out to individuals who are either in the same business you're in or who are doing the same thing that you're doing in terms of creating a business plan, or who just want to network, stay connected, and figure out how to partner and work together. The next thing I'm going to talk about is addressing the new. Everything is new right now to a certain extent. And I say that because rules have changed, regulations have changed, licensing requirements have changed, laws have changed, taxes have changed across the board. So right now, everyone should be treating their business as new, whether you've been in business for a while or if you are new to starting a business. Everything becomes new because you need to confirm and verify that the information that you've been working with or working from is still valid and current. The other thing that you want to do is look at joining industry associations, going to industry meetings, looking for Zoom calls that are going to give you the type of information for your industry in particular and the changes that are coming through. So being able to keep up with what is happening is really important, and being able to pivot to a new mindset. So the new mindset is that you used to go out and you would meet and greet face to face. You would distribute your business cards, you would make those connections, you would schedule those appointments. The new now is that you are on a Zoom call. There are 55 people on the call right now. And so how do you get in contact with those 55 individuals so that you can develop a relationship? You really need to put your information in the chat, collect their information, schedule appointments so that your networking still occurs, just in a different manner. And the other thing you want to get used to doing is in terms of licensing requirements, regulations. There are federal regulations, there are state regulations, there are county regulations, there are city regulations. So for those of you who know, probably 6 months ago, if you did not have a business tax receipt for some counties, then you were fine. Well, the grants came out, and many of the counties said, if you don't have a business tax receipt with the county, then you cannot apply for a grant. But you can't get a county business tax receipt if you don't have a city tax receipt. So that the rules are changing. You need to know what they are. You need to maintain them. And you also want to make sure that you contact those departments and organizations that are going to give you facts. The internet is a wonderful place, but I have to say that not everything is factual on the internet. And so when you're doing something, you want to check it, and recheck it. And you want to contact organizations that can give you the correct information that you're looking for, or who are willing to at least guide you in a way that you can get the information that's necessary. I want to talk about managing. So there's so many things going on. And as a small business owner, how do you manage not just your business, but your personal life, your family life? All of these things have to be managed. And so in managing them, how can you figure out what to do first, because you're doing everything across the board? So yes, a business plan, a roadmap is going to help, but developing those relationships with other business owners that allow you to do some partnering. And I'm not suggesting that everyone here needs to partner in terms of doing business. Maybe you need to partner in terms of addressing activities. So if there's a Zoom call going on, or a Zoom meeting going on right now. There's another Zoom meeting that started at 12 o'clock. There's another Zoom meeting that started at 1. You can't be in all of those places at the same time. So you have to make choices, but if you partner with another business owner, maybe they go to meeting 1, you go to meeting 2, and someone else goes to meeting 3, and then you meet and share that information. So that's how you can manage getting that information that you need, by partnering with other businesses. Also support groups. And don't forget that there are lots of community groups out there that are publishing information, sharing information in terms of business development, proposals, particularly the Community Foundation of Broward. They have lots of programs going on where small businesses can get connected. And if you go to some of their presentations, you will meet other small business owners as well. The SBA is giving tons of workshops, and you would be able to meet business owners there, or you could contact any of us directly so that we could make connections for you to help you manage not only your business, but the relationships that you need in order to develop a successful business. I'm going to speed up here because I realize that my time is over here. Pressure and stress. So we all know that everyone's under pressure right now, today. So we have clients who can't pay their rent, can't pay their mortgage. Their children are home, they're not in school, they're trying to help them with their schoolwork. They're trying to run a business. So pressure and stress are areas in which it's very difficult to manage that. I put the slide up here about going to the beach because that helps me manage my stress. But there are programs out here. For many of you, you may have heard Palm Beach Gardens has a rent and mortgage payment program that just opened up today. They will pay up to $15,000 if you are behind. Well, obviously you have to live in Palm Beach Gardens, but there are other cities out here that have programs that cover rent and mortgage, and in some cases electric bills and things of that nature. So how do you find out about that? You find out about those programs by staying in touch. Again, it's about communicating, it's about sharing, and it's about being engaged, because we're not always going to call you. You need to call us, and we can help you hopefully manage through some of that stress and pressure, because again, healthy mind, healthy body, healthy business helps to alleviate pressure and stress. So make the call in terms of that. In terms of money, everyone who comes into our office is looking for a grant. There used to be a time when I would say grants are not available, but money is always an obstacle in terms of starting a business, particularly for small businesses and in particular for women. We receive less in terms of capital infusions than any other group. So what do we do about that? For those who are in business, I'm going to stress, apply for the PPP, apply for the EIDL. If for some reason you are unable, you don't know how to do it, call one of the organizations that are here, either Althea, Ms. McCall, or the Florida Women's Business Center. We can direct you in terms of getting those applications completed. The other thing that I will say is that for micro businesses, there is a Kiva program. It's a global crowdfunding program that allows small business owners to get up to $15,000 at 0% interest with 3 years to repay that loan. It is a loan, but again, it's at 0% interest. So if you are serious about your business and you need the money, it's not just for people who've been in business for 2 or 3 years, it's for startups as well. And they don't check your credit score, but you do have to put your personal information in on the application. So in that sense, yes, there is money out here. We also get calls where people don't want to apply for a PPP or an EIDL because they think it's a loan. I don't want a loan. Well, in this environment, if you can apply for a PPP, if you can apply for an EIDL loan, then you basically should apply for that loan, get that money, and if you decide when it's time for you to pay it back that you don't need it, pay the entire loan back, because now you at least have some contingency funds that will help you move your business forward and operate during a rainy day, because this is the longest rainy day that I can remember in terms of dealing with the pandemic. It's going to last a little while longer, but I think everyone here can manage and reframe the obstacles and the excuses in terms of either not starting your business or not moving your business forward. The last thing I would like to say is that as women, we always leave our footprints in the sand. As women, our mission and our goal is to continue looking forward so that we can light the way for those who are following behind us. And so our footsteps are important, but also an outreached hand is. So I want to thank you, and I'm done.
Wow, that was great. You all on this webinar are amazing. Thank you so much for your engagement on this webinar. Maribel, I believe you're going to tell us about this slide now.
Yes, I am. Please join me in thanking our panelists. What an amazing presentation of resources. You learned today how to develop a vision, how to market the services of your business and your products, how to, again, be effective when you do your research to develop that marketing strategy. And lastly, the resources that we have, right, available to all of you. It is really important that you stay connected. As you heard from our panelists, we have a list of resources here for you. We'll be emailing you after our workshop today all this information, so you'll have access to all these resources. Again, legal resources, financial assistance resources. We have a very active chat today. We have some testimonials on businesses that follow these steps to develop their vision and to do their research to develop that marketing strategy and how successful that was for them. So we really want to encourage you to stay connected. We want to share with you we want to invite you to our Kaufman New Venture workshop information session on Wednesday, March 17th. It's going to be a free session, virtual session, so you can learn about our entrepreneurship program. It's a very comprehensive program, 10-week course, where you'll be able to learn how to develop your business plan. And at the end of the 10 classes, you can present your business plan, similar to Shark Tank, for an opportunity to win cash prizes for your business. So we really want to invite you to this info session so you can learn about the program, how to apply, and how you can successfully participate. Again, I want to thank all our panelists. We have a customer satisfaction survey that you're going to receive right now. We really want to hear from you. Did you enjoy this workshop? We want to know how it was of benefit to you, and we definitely want to get suggestions for any future programming. So I want to once again thank our panelists for an empowering session. I want to wish all of you a wonderful Women History Month, a lot of success in your business, and please contact all of us. We're going to share with you the panelist information. You'll be able to contact them or contact our office. We are here to assist you in developing and growing your business. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Awesome. Thank you all very much. This has been time well spent. Please do make sure you answer the survey. It helps us to present more and better information for you. I just wanted to remind you in the chat. Oh, listen, there's 3 dots in the chat, and you can save the chat if you click on those 3 dots, and that way you can have our information. You don't have to feel like you're scrambling. You can get some of the answers to the questions that were placed there. I just wanted to remind you, because also my book club is in there, we're going to be compounding about vivid vision. So you're welcome to join us next Friday for that. I want to thank you, spectacular ladies, for all of this valuable information. Victoria, you knocked it out of the park. Miss T, always awesome. Maribel, I don't know how you can stand it over there in your office with you and Sandy and this fabulous team, but I know you're doing it one day at a time, and I'm so grateful for all of you there in Broward County. As I said at the beginning, it is such a pleasure to work with such committed folks who are committed to the success of small businesses. We can't do it without you all. The world needs your products and services, so please implement what you heard today. And I just thank you all. Any last words?
I just wanted to make sure that we had addressed all the questions. I know that people were putting questions in the chat and in the Q&A, and everybody's been doing a great job, the panelists going through and answering those questions. So just making sure we didn't miss any of those.
That's right. Thank you for that, Ms. T. There is one question for you left, Ms. Victoria. We were typing answers in the Q&A. What is the name of the trade show you mentioned? I think it was the maybe Enterprise Florida one.
It's Enterprise Florida. It's 3 days, 16th, 17th, and 18th. It's all day, and it's free for participants.
And I put the Enterprise Florida web link into the chat. So again, be sure to export the chat so that you can have all of that information when you leave today. Thank you all so much for your engagement today. It's really, I think I speak on behalf of everyone on this panel. It is such an uplifting experience to be with you today, to have the kind of engagement we've had today on the chat and the Q&A. It makes us feel good about the work that we do to know that it's helpful to you. So thank you all for your encouraging words as well. With that, I guess we can say goodbye. All right. Happy Friday, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.